Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm David Lamb. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Police in the Bay Area released footage of an officer-involved shooting at the San Francisco International Airport. The man involved appeared to draw weapons on the officers. A bill that would have brought universal health care to California died in the state assembly on Monday. A surgeon weighed in on the feasibility of the health care change in the state. The fire in Big Sur is 98% contained after burning for almost 10 days. The Colorado fire burned nearly 700 acres north of the Bixby Creek Bridge. It started on January 21st after high winds blew hot embers from a pile burning operation onto nearby vegetation, which ignited the fire. All road closures and evacuation orders have been lifted. For weeks, a number of California lawmakers touted a bill that would have created state-controlled universal health care for residents. This would have been the second time a state in the U.S. attempted to adopt such a plan. But the headline-making yet controversial bill died in the state assembly yesterday. NTD's Cynthia Kai spoke with a surgeon to hear more about the concept of universal health care.
California's state lawmakers on Monday failed to gather enough support to advance a bill known as AB 1400, which would have created a government-funded universal healthcare system. However, Paula Muto, a surgeon, said the concept of universal healthcare does not meet the needs of modern medicine.
If you think back in the 1960s, we had a really different system, right? We had a top-down approach of the doctor who knows what's best for you, and it was a very monolithic, paternalistic system.
She said, doctor-patient relationships today require more personalization rather than government mandates.
Our healthcare in 2022 couldn't be more different. We have collaborative approaches with our patients. We have individualized care. So to kind of go back to a solution that was thrown in the 1960s of a single-payer system doesn't make sense because, in point of fact, you can't have a single payer when you don't know what you're paying for.
AB 1400 had to pass by midnight on Monday to have a chance at becoming law this year. But its author, Democratic Assemblymember Ash Clara, realized it would not pass and withheld the bill from a vote. Proponents of the bill said it would have created equal access to health care, but critics were concerned about the introduction of the largest tax increase in state history. The hefty new taxes would have been implemented through a separate bill, ACA 11. Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon said in a statement he was deeply disappointed Clara decided not to call AB 1400 for a vote. Assembly Republican leader Marie Walden thanked the Californians and a number of Democrats who opposed AB 1400. Muto said she hopes more healthcare professionals can be included in the discussion surrounding the healthcare system.
I would like to see engagement without hostilities and fear. I think there's been a lot of fear with COVID and everything. I think that we have to remember the doctors are here to take care of patients like we've always been here to take care of patients, and we'd like to do that with more latitude.
California is not the first to attempt such a healthcare system. Vermont adopted universal healthcare in 2011, but dropped it 3 years later after the government could no longer pay for it. Cynthia Kai, NTD News, California.
Officials released surveillance footage of a shooting that happened at San Francisco International Airport earlier this month. The suspect said he was carrying a gun, and when he appeared to raise it, the officers fired.
The 37-year-old man was fatally shot on January 20th after acting suspiciously inside San Francisco International Airport. The man, named Nelson Zetto, claimed he was armed with 2 guns. However, he was carrying airsoft replicas which are not real firearms. San Francisco Police Department Commander Paul Yep said officers received calls shortly before 7:30 a.m. about a suspicious man in the international section. The calls said he had no luggage and was holding his midsection area as if trying to hide something. When officers approached Zetto, he pulled out what appeared to be a gun from his jacket. He said to them he had another gun and this one's loaded. Additionally, Zetto told officers to shoot him center mass as well as thanking them for their service. A negotiator told Zetto to put down the guns and said the police wanted to help. After Zetto dropped one gun, he appeared to draw another gun and officers fired. He fell backwards and police fired once more when he appeared to reach for the gun again. The police administered aid to Zito before medics arrived. However, he succumbed to the injuries. The California Department of Justice is now investigating the incident.
As of today, several new requirements went into effect in the Bay Area. San Francisco officials once again allow people to be maskless in certain settings, such as offices or gyms in which everyone is fully vaccinated. Indoor masks are required in most settings. And Oakland requires those ages 12 and up to show proof of vaccination in order to access certain indoor spaces, including restaurants, concert venues, and gyms. The Chase Center in San Francisco requires all eligible guests to show proof of vaccine booster shots for venue entry, if applicable. It will be the first arena in the nation to have this requirement. Hollywood agencies representing some of the biggest stars in the world, like Will Smith and Beyoncé, are turning their attention to TikTokers. Content creators on the Chinese-owned app are wooing a ton of the younger Generation Z viewers, and Hollywood wants in. NTD's Phil Zhou has the details.
Talent agencies in Hollywood are used to representing big-time movie stars and mega artists, but now they're going after influencers on TikTok.
Well, I'm certainly not surprised that Hollywood is hiring off of TikTok.
TikTok is opening up doors for all these Gen Z 10 to 25-year-olds.
Millennial and Gen Z are the two most important generations at the moment.
It seems a little bit easier for brands to use TikTok marketing.
Marketing expert Maggie Wilson says it's about making money.
Hollywood is figuring out that you can tap into these micro communities that are on TikTok and you get a really great return on your investment.
Especially if the TikTok influencer has a loyal following.
There's a gap between how much it costs for an influencer versus a celebrity. And the ROI might be a little bit better if you're working with an influencer, especially a micro-influencer who has a very engaged audience.
Reza Izad co-founded _Talent, a firm representing over 200 content creators on sites like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
As ad dollars have shifted out of traditional spend into digital, this creator class has been a significant beneficiary, and we think that the business opportunities around all digital creators.
He says digital content grew, especially during the pandemic.
It was hard to shoot an ad. It was very easy to do a YouTube video and a TikTok campaign.
Social media consultant Robert Stern says agencies also want to leverage TikTok talent and pass their knowledge onto their current celebrity clients.
They want to leverage the loyalty of the audience that these TikTokers have, but they also want to learn from them to help their in-house clients, big names.
TikTok recently became the most visited site, even ahead of Google. But actress and TV show host Sam Sorbo says when things are too good to be true, beware.
It is, in effect, spyware. And so there's a great deal of data that's being gathered through people's use of this technology, of this app.
TikTok is owned by Chinese company ByteDance. Former President Trump tried banning the Chinese-owned app over national security concerns, but the ban has since been lifted by President Biden. Phil Zhou, NTD News.
A suspect who allegedly made mass shooting threats against individuals at the University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA, has been taken into custody. That's according to school officials. UCLA held all classes remotely today as a precaution, but says it'll resume in-person learning tomorrow. Police have identified the suspect as Matthew Christopher Harris, a former UCLA lecturer. Harris allegedly sent a video referencing a mass shooting and an 800-page manifesto filled with violent threats against members of the UCLA community. The campus police department said it worked with the FBI and Colorado law enforcement on the investigation. Authorities tracked Harris to his home in Boulder, where he was arrested after a standoff. Anyone who has ever gotten a ticket for rolling through a stop sign knows you have to come to a complete stop no matter what. And Tesla is paying the price for ignoring that rule of the road. Cars in Tesla's self-driving beta program have been programmed to roll through stop signs, so long as no other cars or people are around. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration isn't having it. The agency issued a safety recall forcing Tesla to make its cars obey stop sign laws. According to Tesla, this will impact close to 54,000 vehicles in its self-driving program. The company doesn't like the word recall since the issue will be fixed with an over-the-air software update. Tesla says no cars in its programs have been involved in any accidents since it launched in 2020. There's a controversy in one Silicon Valley city over digital billboards. Some say the billboard pollutes the city's visual appeal, and one local put up his own billboards to challenge city policy. We're in Santa Clara, where digital billboards such as these can be found. But in a neighboring city, San Jose, new billboards have been outright banned since 1985. San Jose prohibited new billboards decades ago in order to beautify the city. Recently, several digital billboards were proposed to be created at the San Jose airport for revenue, but the local airport commission rejected it over pushback from the community. A grassroots group told NTD that the billboard revenue would be mediocre.
From the city's point of view, they see it as a revenue generating, even though it's a drop in the bucket. Like we calculated, it'd be a fraction of 1% of the city annual budget of revenue.
Local resident Hemp says some residents are against digital billboards in general.
And we're just hoping that we can keep San Jose's unique character and visual appeal instead of becoming like any place USA. You know, where every other town in the country has digital billboards everywhere.
In one part of San Jose, these digital billboards on Gish Road appeared to be put up in 2018 without obtaining permits.
I built some signs in the city without any permits and then challenged the right to even have a permit because of their unconstitutional sign scheme. That's where I'm at.
Herson, the owner of the billboards, told NTD he's currently in litigation with the city over his free rights as a local. He says the city is exclusively allowing large companies to bid for billboard spots.
It made it impossible for anybody else to even bid on these things. Some of the requirements where you had to have worked with a government entity for a number of years, 3-4 years, have to have a certain net worth. They purposely excluded everybody.
NTD reached out to the mayor for comments but did not receive a response. Herson said people can turn off their billboards after 10 p.m. at night to avoid light pollution, but that there's already a myriad of other lights coming from the city. Herson says he hopes the council approves the new billboards because he plans to sue the city over unconstitutionality. According to Scenic America, an organization that aims to preserve the nation's land, the states of Vermont, Hawaii, Maine, and Alaska all prohibit billboards. On February 15th, the San Jose City Council will vote on whether or not to approve the digital billboards at the airport. If approved, they would be the first legally built digital billboards in the city. David Lamb, NTD News, California. Record-breaking levels of snowfall from last year are starting to look less impressive. Despite the large storms, the snowpack in the Sierras recently fell below the yearly average. As of January 31st, the Sierra Nevada snowpack is 93% of its annual levels. The level, compared to historic averages, has slowly been decreasing since January 1st, when the snowpack was at 168% above average. This comes after areas like Lake Tahoe have not seen any snow since January 7th. However, state reservoirs are up in their water levels after 17 feet of snow fell on Donner Summit. Lake Oroville rose 118 feet since October and is almost double its regular levels for this time of the year. The state now has 2 months left of its regular winter rain and snow season. Additionally, California is not expected to see rain or snow for at least the next week. Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady, widely considered the greatest player in NFL history, announced his retirement on Tuesday after an age-defying career during which he won a record 7 Super Bowl championships. The 44-year-old Brady spent 20 seasons with the New England Patriots, winning 6 Super Bowl titles before relocating to Tampa Bay and leading the Bucs to a championship last season. Brady's decision follows a dominant season during which he led the NFL in touchdown passes and passing yards. He could win a 4th League Most Valuable Player trophy, which would make him the oldest player to win the award. In his final game, Brady rallied the Buccaneers from a 27-3 halftime deficit against the Los Angeles Rams, but his team ultimately was eliminated from the playoffs by a last-second field goal. A Northern California native, Brady was selected with the 199th pick of the 2000 NFL Draft, but went on to rewrite the record books, including holding the mark as the all-time leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and quarterback wins. He appeared in a record 10 Super Bowls, winning the game's MVP award 5 times, and has 15 Pro Bowl selections, the most in league history. An absolute surefire first-ballot Hall of Famer, Brady's decision to retire comes after conflicting reports over the weekend about his competitive future. Klay Thompson drilled a clutch three-pointer with 12.5 seconds remaining and combined with Stephen Curry to score Golden State's final 17 points Saturday night, allowing the Warriors to outlast the visiting Brooklyn Nets 110-106 in San Francisco. On a night when they combined to shoot just 10 for 32 overall and 5 for 18 on three-pointers, Curry and Thompson got plenty of support from Andrew Wiggins, who went for a team-high 24 points after Kyrie Irving and Patty Mills hit 2 free throws apiece to get Brooklyn within 104-103 with 30.8 seconds to go. Thompson took a Curry pass and drilled just his second three-pointer of the night to make it a 4-point game. Warriors 110, Nets 106. Joel Embiid had 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists to lead Philadelphia back from a 17-point deficit past Sacramento. Embiid was 10 of 18 from the field and 14 of 18 from the free throw line while scoring at least 25 points for the 17th game in a row. For the 76ers, Tobias Harris added 16 points and 8 rebounds, and Tyrese Maxey contributed 13 points and 7 assists. Danny Green also added 11. The Kings played without De'Aaron Fox for the 4th straight game because of a sore left ankle. Tyrese Halliburton scored a career-high 38 points, including a flurry of 14 straight points in the final quarter. Harrison Barnes added 16, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Kings, who lost their 6th straight. 76ers 103, Kings 101.
As always, I'm Thomas Christian, and thanks for tuning in.
And that's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, feel free to let us know. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm David Lamb. Have a wonderful evening.